Hey, what's up everybody, Nexel here. So today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and we do have a few things to go through. I am kind of short on time, so I'm going to try and speed through these videos as much as I possibly can while trying to explain as much as I can. So first of all, we're going to do the announcement about the gem boards. Now these are available until August 22nd, so you do have some time to at least mull over the idea. I explained this to someone a long time ago, and I think it still holds true to this day, that gems are easily the best non-RNG way of improving yourself in the game. And that's because it doesn't require any sort of luck. You know, you slap the gems onto a Keyblade, you level up its multiplier. Those multipliers stay stagnant, they're not based on percentage, they don't require you to have something specific. So I think gems are definitely the easiest way to improve in this game once you've hit level 25 on your Keyblades, because at that point you'll need the gems. Now, these boards don't include just the gems, they also have a magic broom. I'm sorry, I believe it's... Oh, here we go. So here are the things it comes with. So Attack Boost 3 Max, SP Gauge 1, which is always really good, especially since some of the medals, like the new Lan and Rain, they have, I believe it's 5 gauges, so this would be a useful skill for them if you could guilt them. And then there are just so many other medals that, you know, have really, really high gauges, but they instantly become... The gauges don't even matter when you slap one of these medals on there. And you get the attack boost, which is really good. The boards also come with the magic broom, so 2 of them. So buying all 3 boards nets you at least 1 Mickey and broom. And 3 magic mirrors, so a total of 9. Some chips, some Dales, a Sid, and a Huey, Dewey, Louie medal, 2 of them. So each board will come with 5 gems. Now that's actually a lot, and I'm going to explain why in just a little bit here. So for the gem boards, make sure you at least unlock 1 node if you do buy them. So you are going to need to unlock 1 in order to make sure you can collect the board rewards later on. I haven't tested it. I want to say it's sort of not true, but again, I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't want to test it. Now, let me go ahead and explain why I think gems are super important to this game. And for obvious reasons, it's going to be because of the Keyblade. So let's go ahead and move on to our web page. Boom! Keyblade list. Okay. Now, before we start talking about this, I want to say a few things. The number one thing I want to say is that the Keyblade you level up is going to be very, very, very specific to your metal set. Because you could have a whole bunch of blues, and then someone's going to tell you that Fenrir's the best Keyblade, and that's not going to do you any good. So you want to really tailor which Keyblade you level based on the medals you have. And that's something, you know, you're going to have to ask people questions if you're pretty new to the game. It's something you're going to have to do some research on if you're new. But once you get a good grip of what your best metal set is, you'll know which Keyblade to level up from there. So with that being said, let's go ahead and just start rolling down. So let's talk about why the gems are important. So the gems will increase the multipliers of the Keyblade. And that is really, really good, because changing the multiplier of the Keyblade can enhance a medal's power by almost up to 3 times its regular strength, which is really good. When we talk about Keyblades, you know, everyone says level up this one, level up that one, ABC, you know, etc., etc. For me personally, I would have to say do not, and I really kind of sort of mean this. I know there are a lot of people who'd argue it, but again, it's based on your metal set. Do not level up your Starlight or your Stroke of Midnight. Again, I know I'm going to get some hate for that. I know I'm going to get some definitely disagreeing comments, but the reason behind that is because when you look at past level 25 on the Starlight, look at how many gems it requires to get to level 35. That is such a huge amount of resource just right there. Look at all this. You have a bunch of speed gems, a bunch of magic gems. When you actually total out the math, it comes out to 15 speed, 14 power, and 15 magic. That's just, I don't know. That, for me personally, that is just way too much. Especially when you think of the Proud Mode Keyblades, I believe they require only 20 for you to go to their maximum level, where they are infinitely more useful than the Starlight or the or the Stroke of Midnight. But again, that's my personal opinion. It's going to be the same rule for the Stroke of Midnight. So as you can see here, once we get past level 25, it's going to use up a bunch of speed, a bunch of magic, a bunch of power gems. And to be honest, that's just not a cost. Unless you're a whale, unless you can afford it, dude, go ahead. Go, by all means, foil out all your Keyblades. But if you're kind of skimpy on your jewels, if you have to... Whoop, I guess my game screen turned off. If you're kind of skimpy on your jewels, if you're trying to be very, you know, conservative about your resources so that you don't spend them all in one place, these two Keyblades are definitely not what you want to invest in. Again, going back to my disclaimer, it is based on your metal set, so that could totally wipe out exactly what I just said. So let's move on to the next three Keyblades, which are our mono Keyblades, the Treasure Trove, the Lady Luck, and the Three Wishes. Now, I am also going to say these are not worth investing your gems into. When you look at the Keyblades past level 25, the multipliers don't go very high. Look at this all the way. So even at level 35, the highest multiplier on the Treasure Trove is going to be this 2.6 right here. And that is not very high. Look at all the gems you'd have to use. It's a crazy amount. What is that? That's 5 right there. That's 6 right there. That's 9 right there. That's even right there. Even if you stop right there, that is just way too many gems to use for any Keyblade that only gets you to a times 2.6 in the highest multiplier. The same rule is going to apply for the Lady Luck. So let's take a look. When you get to the Lady Luck, the highest slot's going to be a 2.6. Not worth it, especially when that 2.6 or the highest level comes at a cost of 10 gems. That's crazy. I wouldn't want anyone to pay for that ever, unless you had some sort of, you know, crazy desire to have these things, you know, foiled out like that. I would definitely not recommend that. That's crazy. That is way too expensive. The Three Wishes, when you look at the highest one, it's not even 2.6. It's 2.55. I wouldn't recommend leveling these up past level 25 because the game allows you to go to level 25 if you just complete the missions, the adamantite ore missions. Couldn't recommend doing it past level 25 just because the multipliers are not worth it, the gems are not worth it, the overall thing is just not worth it at all. So let's go ahead, move down the line, past our mono Keyblades, onto the real Keyblades, in my opinion, the ones that are really good. So we're actually going to start with our analysis of Olympia. So the way I base the usefulness of the Keyblade is based on its highest multiplier. So I'm going to pretty much base the rest of my argument for the next three Keyblades on that. So the Olympia reaches its highest multiplier, which is going to be this 2.8 red upright on level 30. Now, in comparison to the mono Keyblades, which required so many gems, to get Olympia up to level 30, you're only going to need 6 power gems and 5 speed gems. When you look at the boards, if you buy the 2 boards, so let's say you bought the speed and the power board, you're only missing 1 more power gem, and that's going to kick you to that Olympia level 30, which is going to have the highest multiplier it's got at the 2.8 power on that 4th slot. So that's really good. For the price of only 11 gems, a split of 6 and 5, you're going to get something that has a 2.8 multiplier, which is really good. So if you really wanted to go all the way, if you have a great speed and power setup and you really want to go all the way up to level 20 or level 35, where you're going to get this additional 2.8 multiplier on an upright speed, then that's going to cost you quite a bit more. It's going to take you from level 25, it's going to take you 22 power and 22 speed. That is a lot of resource, especially when, again, bouncing off into the Proud Mode Keyblades, you get that so pretty much you get to the maximum level at 20 gems of a solo color. So 20 speed gems gets your Sleeping Lion up to 35. So I don't recommend leveling these up past their highest multiplier slot, which is going to be, again, this 2.8 for the Olympia. So mine's sitting, I believe mine's actually sitting at 29 or 30. It's sitting somewhere around that because it only costs a split of, again, 6 power gems and 5 speed gems. And that's really cheap for a 2.8 multiplier. So in my opinion, if you have a red and a green setup, that's really, really good. If you have a gilted key art air, which is the red key art copy metal, then this becomes a perfectly solid speed Keyblade. Moving on to our Divine Rose, which is easily one of the best 2 Keyblades in the entire game. Not opinion, I'm pretty sure that's actually just fact based on statistics, but again, based on your medals. So to get it up to the highest multiplier, it's going to be this times 3. Times 3 is crazy. It is nuts. It's so broken that the new Proud Mode Keyblades, the dark ones, the reverse Keyblades, have to have times 3 multipliers to keep up. It's meta changing. It's great. Ever since Divine Rose came out, almost everyone has been using it if they have a solid green-blue setup. So to get up to this times 3 multiplier, which is really, really solid, it's going to take you 6 speed gems, 5 magic gems. Again, looking back at our gem board avatar boards, it's going to give you 5 speed and 5 magic. You're only 1 gem away from getting to that times 3 multiplier. Totally worth it, in my opinion. I have kept my Divine Rose at level 30 for the longest time, and it has carried me so much. I use it all the time in high score challenges for Zaldin B. I use it all the time because I have a Gilded Key R3. It's just so useful to have a times 3 multiplier, especially with this particular setup where the multipliers increase, because odds are your first few multipliers are going to be used, or your first 3 slots in your Keyblade are going to be used for buffer and utility medals, with the last 2 mainly being your damage medal. So you want those high multipliers on the last slots. Same rule going into 35. You're going to get, again, a fantastic setup here with a 2.9 upright blue in the 4th slot, but that is, again, costly. It's going to be 22 speed and 22 magic. That is a lot. That's a lot of saving. That's a lot of high score challenges. That's a lot of raid weeks and top ranking weeks. But if you can get there and you have a great upright blue reverse green setup, do it. By all means, I encourage it. So moving on to our Moogle of Glory, which is kind of strange because it reaches its highest multiplier at level 29, clocking out at this times 2.9 multiplier reverse blue on the 4th slot. Just like the other 2, this one is going to actually require the same amount of resource. So this is going to be 6 magic gems, 5 power gems. Again, doing the boards already gets you more than like 75% of the way there. You're just missing 1 gem at that point. So that's going to be really good at the 2.9. To go up to the 35 level, it's going to be the same deal as the other ones, 22 magic, 22 power. Now, the real reason I think you should get the gem boards are for the Proud Mode Keyblades if you're able to get that far. And that is because the Proud Mode Keyblades have some of the best setups because, just like we said earlier, it goes from that low multiplier up until that high multiplier. The highest slots multiplier, unfortunately, is going to be at level 35 for all these guys. So as you saw, just for a brief moment, it was level 35. It was the last slot, upright green for 2.8. Same deal with the counterpoint. Last slot is going to be times 2.8 on the 5th slot. And Fenrir is going to be just a wee bit different with a 2.9, which is really good. It's the best of the 3 Proud Mode Keyblades, in my opinion, just because it does follow that setup. 1.9, 1.9, 2.5, 2.8, and then 2.9 as our multipliers going down the list. So these are really what you want to invest your gems into, just because monocolored Keyblades are really, really useful if you have the medals to support it. Again, this all goes back to your medal set. What do you have? What are your strengths? What are your buffers? What are your attack medals? Which ones deal the most damage? Which ones are gilted? Etc. That's really going to base what you use your gems on. But for me, if you ask me the order of what is the most worth putting the gems on, I'm going to have to say it's going to be our 3 dual color Keyblades. So our Olympia, Divine Rose, and our Moogle of Glory, followed very, very, very shortly with the Proud Mode Keyblades, which have fantastic multipliers. So this all goes back to the gem boards. Whether or not you guys think they're worth it, remember that to get to the highest multiplier of our dual color Keyblades, it is going to be a split of 6-5 based on the Keyblade you choose. So again, Olympia, level 30, 6 power, 5 speed. Divine Rose, level 30, 6 speed, 5 magic. Moogle of Glory, 6 magic, 5 power. That is not too much when you think about how much the gem boards already provide. And you get the skills and the brooms. It's fantastic. So if you really need to buff up your game, if you need some surefire way that isn't pulling for medals and hoping and praying and pretty much getting down on your knees and begging for good medals, this is definitely the best way to improve your game. I hope you guys found this useful. Shout out to this wiki page. I use this all the time. It's so fantastic. It helps English players like me, global players like me, try and keep up with the meta because it also posts things in Japanese. So shout out to whoever made this website. You guys are fantastic. I use your website all the time, and I highly encourage anyone who's watching this video to check it out. But with that being said, guys, this video is over. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will try to get to them the best I can. And until the next video, guys, take it easy.